Okay, this video is going to be about how you present your Demurrer paperwork to the court. We've already looked at the details of what the papers are on my previous videos, and I'll link to the specific one that talks about filling out the forms. And I already had the forms filled out, and I already had all this documentation to back up behind it, which is copies of emails, copies of agreements, and other things that explain why they're charging me the wrong amount on their paperwork. And so I was concerned and not sure about what was I supposed to do with that documentation, like throw it in as a lump? Can I be writing comments all over it? What is the judge wanting to see? So one of the ladies that I spoke to when I asked that question said, what you want is to lead the judge through your paperwork without him having to work for finding the facts you're talking about. You want him to be able to start at your cover page, and when you say, I've got this and that problem, you're going to be able to say, on page 14 or of this attachment. And he will be able to flip to page 14, and when you get to page 14, there'll be like something bolded or some way defining the sentence he needs to read, so that he doesn't have to read all of page 14 to find out what you're trying to tell him. Which in my case, since we have multiple repetitive emails, the man would be furious by the time he had to read all those. So, because I keep repeating myself to them in different emails. So this is good, because then I can actually sit and outline what I'm trying to say, lead through the documents to show where these responses are and where I've said what I've said and where they've said what they've said. So tonight I'll be spending time to do that and to really list it out and make it as attractive as possible, so that when the judge sees it, he won't be just irritated right off the get-go by how much work it was to figure out what the heck was going on. And I think my issues are clear. I'm going to just reiterate this again. I am not putting in like a, what do you call it, like a spurious claim where you don't really have something. I have something. They are charging me the wrong amount. Therefore, in the wording of the papers I looked at online, that means they have no basis of fact in their claim. In other words, you can look at my reference. If I owed them $100 and they had proof of $100, and they made a mistake and the typist put $1,000, and then I get sued for $1,000, and I'm like, wait, I know I only owe $100. That needs to be cleared up. They can't sue for $1,000 and then in court you say, oh, it's only $100. That's not how it goes. You got to go by your papers. So if we got to court with the wrong amount, it's going to be thrown out anyway. And I don't know how they throw it out, but they do, because it has to be all reserved properly. And in the state of California, this is the place where you clean it up. And that's what I'm trying to do. And one of the key points that I found out last night is that the defendant's attorney, which I'm supposed to, if I had an attorney, my attorney would be required to have made these contacts that I've made. And if we went to court with an attorney and filed a demurrer and did not contact the person who sued me, the judge would be mad, because he'd be saying, why didn't you give these guys a chance to drop their case and refile? Because you're wasting my time here. And so I've got a lot of proof that I've given them a chance to drop and refile, and they're not even answering or reading. I don't know what they're doing, but I don't know what else to say. I'm doing the right thing. So that's what happened. That's what I learned from the clerk's office. Later tonight I'll be, right now I'm going to go pass out, get about 8 hours of sleep, and I'll wake up at like 2 in the morning and start again, get all my paperwork together again and go back at it, and I'll update the videos there. And I'll be back to court to really file the papers tomorrow early in the day. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope this is helping you if you're involved in a similar situation. Please visit fitinfun.com. You can have fun like me.